Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. Well, there is a lot of news to share with you. There is just never any lack of things that are important, and today is no exception. So let's get right to it. Reports say that Coinbase now allowing free withdrawals to PayPal. I was really surprised about this. I'm a PayPal user and I thought, wow, how convenient. But remember, if you do move those funds over your PayPal account, it does still have a fee to withdraw from PayPal. So this new function is available in specific regions such as the United States, European Union, United Kingdom, and Canada. But I still think it's very, very convenient. All right, this is something happening in Japan. One of the 16 regulated cryptocurrency exchanges is shutting down. No, it's not closing down because it's in trouble. It is being taken over by Huobi. And Huobi, was founded in China. They then had to move to Singapore because of the crackdown. They have offices in the United States, Japan, and Singapore. They are going to take over this site. They are a huge big force to reckon with. But it's a good thing for users. I mean, look at Coinbase trying to attract more users, so they did an alliance with PayPal. Huobi does $1 billion US in trade daily. They are a big exchange. They are going to also, I think, bring some very good incentives to the users. So every time somebody powerful comes into the space to try to take market share, usually it results in some benefits for the customers. So I'm looking forward to see how Huobi can change the space here in Japan. And this story is not surprising. The G20 country leaders call for international cryptocurrency taxation. So if you think that cryptocurrency is going anywhere soon, no, especially if these countries smell money. So the publication then cites that the G20 leaders seek to build a taxation system for cross-border electronic services. And there is, the chance for Japan here to have a voice because they are hosting the next G20 meeting. It's going to be in Osaka in June, the 28th and 29th in 2019. And we're pretty lucky actually for the timing because there is a gentleman by the name of Fujimaki-san, and Fujimaki is trying to change the tax laws here in Japan in a big way. He's very active talking to the Abe administration. And if he can get those changes made, I think it's going to have an effect on what is being said at this G20 meeting. Okay, everybody, here is the big story. And boy, I'll tell you, it's pretty big. CoinPost today reported that Kitao-san is not a happy camper. Nope, he's not happy at all. As a matter of fact, he said that he is in a little bit of a sense of crisis. He's not happy because of the hostile hard fork, and he expressed his strong concern in that Bitcash hash war has just caused the whole entire virtual currency market to be so weak and collapse the prices. So he says, and I quote, "I want to correct the holding structure by obtaining 30% of the virtual currency mining share." Now he's talking about the mining share that he has currently with BCH. He went from 4.3% to 5.6%, and he strongly stated in language like I've never heard him use before. His very strict tone says that he blames this price collapse on greed and ego. And he was explaining to the shareholders that this space needs a stable shareholder. A stable shareholder needs to exist to prevent a 51% attack and to make the market healthier. So at present, China owns 70% of the Bitcoin shares, and this hash war has resulted in the deterioration, he feels, of the entire virtual currency space. And as a whole, in order to improve this, SBI plans to rectify the market by acquiring 30% of the mining share. So you don't have to be a BCH holder to understand this is important, or even be a fan of BCH. What I see is this man is so committed to the space that he's putting his money where his mouth is, and he's stepping forward to take a larger share to stabilize and calm and ensure this market is healthy moving forward. So he currently has his mining facilities in Virginia and Sweden, and actually opening up a new data center in Iceland. So he's not slowing down, and I really think he is serious. I mean, this is someone who I think you need to watch out, because he is going to do what it takes to get this back on track again. And now that we're talking about Mr. Kitao-san, the English version of his roadshow that he was recently going around, November 21st he was in Tokyo, November 26th he was in Nagoya, and on November 29th he was in Osaka. And you can see everything's on track. The SBI VC trade site is going to have its live board at the end of this month, including Ethereum, which will be added. October 4th, of course, MoneyTap launched, and it is launched with RippleNet, and it is going to start into some cross-border remittances in the near future. If you remember, he also participated in the rules book for the users of the DLT at the meeting at Swell, and he's going to start a derivatives trading platform that will begin year end, which in Japan for businesses is the end of March 2019. He's created a lot of new joint ventures: Vietnam, Russia, Cambodia, Indonesia, and of course, we know recently the big news out of Thailand. And SBI Remit is going to use the T points, which is really big here in Japan, will be actually you can use those on the SBI VC trade site. And I think that he was very instrumental in helping to obtain a truce between R3 and Ripple. And he's working very hard to get R3 to come up with a use case for the XRP token. So I just want to reiterate, because there is big news about the Bank of Siam has officially announced that they are indeed using RippleNet and XRP as a token for the hub in Southeast Asia. But how did that occur? How did it get to that point? We can't forget that it was back in July 2017 that SBI Remit started to do the testing to allow Thai workers to send money home back to Thailand. And I'll tell you, the Bank of Siam was so thrilled with what they saw that even for a country that didn't want anything to do with cryptocurrencies, they changed the law so that they could adopt that, and they became the first pioneer for RippleNet's multi-hop. And then when we jump from September to October, they said that they are going to do it for the whole region. So these are how these joint ventures can ultimately transform the business moving forward for Ripple. So SBI is a very important partner, and with the new joint ventures with these banks and securities tradings that you'll see in the 156 pages in the slides that he was taking in his roadshow, you'll see that the number of joint ventures is just increasing. In fact, business is up to the point where they are having record profits. So SBI is really on track. And I think he feels loaded for bear to get this market back on track as well. So when we saw today, was this the article, Ripple sees a massive appetite in Asian markets, says the head of regulatory relations for Europe, Dan Morgan. So Dan Morgan was interviewed by my favorite writer, Samyak Masnavi, and he asked him the questions that really brought the answers into a very clear light. And liquidity regarding digital assets. The most liquidity we have is in Asian markets by some distance. And he said that Asia definitely has the biggest appetite, and in Thailand, Siam Commercial Bank is active regarding settlements and digital assets activity. So I just want everyone to remember it really was because of Mr. Kitao doing those tests originally with the Thai workers to Thailand. Now, I'm going to address this, and boy, I hope this is the last time I have to do it. Everybody is just always saying that Mr. Kitao said $10 at the end of the year. What about that? What about that? And I just need to tell you that this was a tweet from February 2018 when he was feeling very bullish and very happy. And is there anything wrong with feeling bullish and very positive and happy? I don't think so. Look at all the predictions that have been made about Bitcoin going to hit $25,000 by year end. And, you know, I think the market has had a lot of surprises, and one of which is this current hash war. And although it is over, but still, it's not really 100% over. We've still got a lingering effects, and those two guys are still in a big way disrupting the space. And so I think that you can't always see the black swans, right? And this tweet was about this story here. Ripple price predictions XRP USD 2018 to $10. Well, when you're feeling really high on what you're doing in terms of being positive, yeah, everybody thinks they're going to go to the moon. So if that's the worst thing he did was retweet somebody who wrote an article that felt like XRP had the chance to make $10 by year end, I just don't see how you can point your finger and say he's such a bad guy, because as a partner for Ripple, it's been nothing but a list as long as my arm of things that they've done for the space and for Ripple. So please, if you don't believe me, I'm going to refer you back to those 156 pages on the slides, and you can see for yourself that this is a great partner. Okay. Thanks to Susie at Esoteric Trading. If you don't know her, or if you've never listened to her, I'm going to tell you that you're in for a unique experience. She doesn't mince her words at all. There was a guy who wrote an article that was really bugging me, and I just hadn't attacked it and didn't know really how to handle it. And I'm so thankful that she decided to show the other side of the coin on this one. So if you heard or read about that article where 1 billion of XRP were moved and the evidence now claims that XRP has no value, she refutes it vehemently and does it in only the way Susie can do it. And if you ever had any question about the validity of this article, listen to Susie's side of the story. So I'll put a link to her video in my comment section below. All right, and then I kind of want to wrap it up here with the XRP blog. This is a blog that's by the community, for the community. And not only did there's just so much talent in this space, so many great writers. There's a new article that came out on December 2nd, and not just because I'm in it, although I'm very pleased to have been mentioned, and I feel thankful, but it also talks about, nearly 30 content providers that are in the space. And everybody is so unique and so different and so great. And if you are trying to get some pointers as to people who are doing great work in this space, especially for not only just the XRP community, because actually he goes out beyond the XRP community and reaches out into some content providers that are doing the entire space. And I think from reading his article, he really is paying attention. And he's not only really paying attention, but he really knows the attributes of each particular content provider. So Gipon F is who I'm talking about, who wrote this, and it's a very, very, very good read. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate being mentioned, but also how much I appreciate these writers who bring this kind of quality work to the space. It's just so great. Anyway, I'm sure you'll thoroughly enjoy this, whether you're new to the space or you've been around for a long time. It's a good one. And when you get on this site, this XRP community blog, you can put in your email address should you wish and get on the mailing list, and it'll be delivered to your email box. So someday I'd love to see all these articles go on to a what do you call it? Go on to a where I can listen to it, where somebody reads me the article. Not a my. Here goes my English again. Goes on to a podcast. I'm sorry, went totally blank. I'd love to see this blog. I'm just putting the idea out there. I'd love to see all the writers who are contributing as bloggers put it on a podcast so that people who are super, super busy and don't have time to read but are doing things that, it's the whole multitask thing. So one of the things I do is when I am doing anything but sitting in front of the computer, I've got, maybe I even have my earphones around my neck. No, not right now. I've got earphones in the ear and I'm listening all the time to what's going on out there in the world. So I just think that putting these bloggers on a podcast would be a good idea. Okay, I got to keep it rolling because I hate to keep you so long. I'm going to take you right into the fluff now. Do I want to? Yeah, did I have? Oh, I had one thing. I had one yucky thing, actually. If you received an email from me, it's not from me. So there was someone who got into my Gmail account and is sending out some crazy, and they did this a couple months ago and it looks like they did it again. And I just want to tell you that if you get something that says you're going to make at least 1% of your invested capital daily, it's not me, not even close. So I put in a 2-step authentication to my Gmail account, changed my password, cleaned off all the devices I didn't recognize. Anyway, I think I finally got rid of it, but I'm really sorry if you got one of those emails and if you really thought it was me. That's just embarrassing. It was not me. So please ignore it, trash it, don't open it. Okay, fluff. Yeah, this is Ultraman. I don't know if you know this, but this is part of a series of television shows that actually were first released in 1966 and only ran to 1967, 39 episodes, but became just a massive hit in Japan. And since, of course, they have done, I think, films, and it continues to live on, and kids today, especially boys, young, like age I don't know, when do they get into Ultraman? About 3 or 4 years old till maybe 6 or 7 years. They are just crazy for this character. And the character itself is kind of an intergalactic reptilian creature. And he has a capabilities to go as high as 164 feet high. Anyways, he fights what's called kaiju, or suspicious, strange monsters in each episode. And one of the monsters that I thought would be really apropos to learn about is the monster called, let me show you where he is here. This is Kanegon. And he comes from, isn't he cute? So just so you can see a little detail, his head is a coin purse, okay? A zippered coin purse. All right. And Kanegon, here is a colorized version of the original film. He was a boy who was born greedy, and he just loved money. And he loved money so much that when they went to a construction site, the boys were looking around for valuables on the ground. A man with a bulldozer ran over their bikes. And when they got to pick up their bikes, there was the little jingling sound of what probably was a coin purse with money inside. And so it was in the form of a magic cocoon. So the little boy took that magic cocoon home, and it was releasing coins. And then he just got crazy. He was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm rich, I'm rich." And to make a long story short, his friends tried to save him because he got so enthralled with the money, he turned in to this monster, which had the coin purse head. And all he wanted to do is eat money. He only could think money. Money, 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 money. So the end of the story is his friends saved him, but when he got home, his parents had turned into the same kind of monsters. So these kinds of shows were on TV to maybe have the moral of the story is, and I think that this one is one of the most famous ones. So I thought that character was interesting. Now, kaiju. These monsters, even Godzilla is a kaiju. And in Shinjuku, which is an area of Tokyo, above the Toho Theater in Kabukicho, there is a Godzilla. And every hour, this Godzilla actually roars and steam comes out of his mouth. Well, I've seen him. He's famous. It's fun. But I didn't ever see the famous view of this kaiju, of this Godzilla, from the Hotel Gracery that is next door. But I found on YouTube, there is, let me just mute this. There is a picture of the room that sits right next to Godzilla's head as he roars. Maybe if I can just... It's just the same as the old Godzilla movies. When Godzilla comes into the frame, the scary music and the roar. Okay. I don't want to be in trouble for any video violation rights, so I'm going to stop. But if you come to Tokyo and you want to see Godzilla, head to Shinjuku, and it's a lot of fun. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.